Okay, I think the production team gave me the green light that we are online and we can start this session. This session is about the so-called Agricultural Information Exchange Platform. And we have a quite sophisticated setup doing that in a hybrid mode. So we have basically the team joining from Nairobi, the team joining from Delhi, and we have a virtual participation from my side. And I'm trying to moderate on behalf of my colleague Lisa, could not join as the moderator. So this is a little bit of an improvisation, but I hope we can make it. And this setup will work for everybody. So we have about 45 minutes to introduce to you the Agricultural Information Exchange Platform. It's a 2-year project that is being funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And we from GIZ, together with the support from Clear Global, are facilitating the development of this Agricultural Information Exchange Platform. And we have partnered with so-called cohorts, 4 cohorts, called DeHaat, Tech4Her, Digital Green and Partners, and Viamo and Partners, who join us on stage in Delhi and Nairobi to give some presentations on their current minimum viable product. So the rundown of the session will be that I will introduce quickly the concept of the platform, and then we'll hand over to the individual speakers and also will run a few videos and recorded demos to give you an impression of the Agricultural Information Exchange Platform. We will have our colleagues from GIZ, Kirti and Florence in Delhi and Nairobi respectively, and from the cohorts, Vineet Bandara from Dalberg will present the Tech4Her prototype. Beryl Agengo from Digital Green will present their prototype, and Lokendra from Erie will present the DeHaat prototype, as well as Anna Frenzel from Viamo will present the Viamo prototype. So with that, I hope I'm good to hear and everything is going well from the technology side. If the production team can give me a quick hint. Okay, sounds great. Then I would like to introduce the concept of AIP, and for this I will share my screen. All right, so I'm here at the AI for Good Summit, another conference in parallel with ICTforAg, where we're going to present this platform approach, again, funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, facilitated by GIZ and Clear Global. And we are actually trying to address a problem statement that should be very well known to this audience. I guess I will not share too many news if I'm stating that smallholder farming systems are facing low productivity and stagnating profitability. Some of the figures that depict that the net income are stagnating over the last years and even decades stem from Bihar, one of the pilot regions that we are targeting together with Kenya. And usually that has different and various reasons. One reason is certainly that public extension systems who are supposed to provide advisory to smallholder farmings could help, but they face information barriers in terms of cost efficiency. Currently, the per adopted practice costs for extension services are between $16 and $35. It can be much, much cheaper, and there are distinguished achievements in that regard, but we can be much better than as we do of now. The ratio of public extension workers is in different setups between 1 to 500 to up to 5,000. So that indicates the limitation of a human-centered public extension system. And therefore, we consider digital to be one potential solution where we have seen a tremendous growth in digital solutions in low and middle income countries. We have more than 1,000 worldwide, and most of them are dealing with digital advisory, but only about 47% in Bihar, as an example, receive currently advisory information services. So I think it's fair to say that digital advisory solutions have not been effective at providing farmers the information they require. And that has different reasons, including the low adoption of digital tools, but also that digital services are fragmented and incompatible. We don't get any integrated service delivery. And then on farmer side, low connectivity, low digital literacy, and low general literacy levels prevent the large-scale adoption of digital advisory services. So we are looking at a what-if scenario that basically make use of recent advancements in digital technologies and artificial intelligence to deliver high-quality, diverse, personalized, and dynamic information to the farmers on their preferred device in their preferred language. So the user story we are looking at is that we are actually targeting women farmers who can utilize their feature phone or smartphone in a conversational interface and ask their question in natural language. And the system will then be able to provide an answer in her local dialect and considering the local context the farmer has provided that question from. Over time, the system is able to learn as the system is being used by individuals. It can increase the personalization and provide recommendations that are even better for reflecting the local context of the farmer. And this advice will make use of different information repositories and databases that are seamlessly integrated to each other. So that is our vision. That is our user story that we are tackling. And for this, we have the concept of the Agricultural Information Exchange Platform, a digital solution that is basically utilizing a 4-layered architecture. We have a data and content module. We have a module that is dealing with curation and exchange of information. We have listening and the personalization layer that will enable two-way communication with users. And we have an omni-channel delivery providing different user interfaces according to different modalities that the farmers will have preference for. So we try to enable access to high-value information from various sources. So we try to be agnostic of the data repository and the database being in use. We will utilize generative AI to automate the exchange of information, so to provide timely, relevant, and actionable information. And we will also engage with the end users in a two-way communication mode in local language. For us, this is the key, one of the key success factor for the adoption of such a platform. And then we also provide natural interaction with smaller farmers and extension workers. So both groups are our target groups in their preferred channel, and that could include interactive voice response, social media like WhatsApp channels, but also low-tech channels like SMS. The cherry on top would then be to have a common architecture that will mainly utilize digital public goods and open technology, being open source, being open models, being open data and open innovation, and then have an according operational model and business model behind. We have started with the project 1 year ago, when we had a call for proposals with more than 130 applications. And then we have selected 4 final proposals and 4 cohorts of comprising different organizations, like the lead cohorts are the cohorts are mainly led by Viamo, CGIAR, Digital Green, and Dahlberg and DeHaat. And they do basically monthly sprints where they develop increments of the minimum viable product and share them with end users accordingly after the sprints. And then on a quarterly basis, exchange between the cohorts to learn from different lessons learned of individual cohorts and consolidate, being able to recombine their components and improve accordingly their minimum viable products. We hope to have by November 4 final MVPs available that are ready for further investment for market readiness, and that will then be applicable in both contexts, Kenya and Bihar, India, but also in other regions, and even beyond that in other sectors. So this is a quick overview of the 4 cohorts. Again, DYNAC is mainly of CGIAR organizations, including IRI and CIMIT, but also Dexian, IFFCO, Kisan, and others, Digital Green and partners, Viamo and partners, as well as Tech4Her, comprising DeHaat and Dahlberg. They will present their prototypical solution in a second. And they are engaging in different value chains and provide various channels that we will see now live in their presentations. Technology-wise, they make use of advanced retrieval augmented generation for prompt engineering to utilize speech technology, including large language models that are utilizing machine translation, text-to-speech, accordingly in automated speech recognition to also enable local language interaction. That would cover Swahili, Kikuyu, Bhojpuri, and Hindi, for instance. I will stop here and unshare my screen and quickly check whether we are all good in terms of technology. So that was a quick introduction of what AIEP is all about. And I hope you could get what we have in mind as a concept. And I would like to now hand over to, I guess we start with Tech4Her in Delhi. If Vinay is ready and available. So please, Vinay, over to you.
I think we got the audio from your presentation a bit late. We won't ask you to redo the presentation, but perhaps in the end, if we do have sufficient time, we might just ask you to quickly give us like a 1 or 2 minute glimpse of what your presentation was about. So over to you, Kirti.
Yeah, thank you, Ram. So, and I would now like to introduce the panels. Like Christian mentioned in his presentation, we have 4 cohorts. So in Delhi, we have Mayank, Jain, Lokendra, and Dinesh from the DYNAC cohort, Vineet Bhandari from the Tech4Her cohort, and Birendra from Viamo. And in Nairobi, I believe Beryl is there from Digital Green, and also my dear colleague Florence is there from GIZ. So hi, Florence. Hi, Beryl. And I will now hand over to you, Vineet, to present Tech4Her, if we could. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kirti, and thank you so much, Christian, for that overview. I hope folks on the line can also hear me, see me. As the slides come up, what we have done based on the guidance that we had for the session is to give you a rapid fire intro to, or a glimpse into what all of us have been doing for the past nearly 6 months now. I am Vineet Bhandari. I'm from Dahlberg, a social impact consulting firm. The role that I play on this project is to bring in the gender lens on the project and to see how can the technology actually work for farmers, work for women farmers specifically. And I have my colleague Nikhil, who's from DeHaat. I think he's also on the line, who is sort of our tech lead who are actually developing the program. So with that, we have a couple of pages to walk you through what we have been up to in the past 6 months or so. Before we get started, I wanted to give you a quick overview of what our ambition was as part of the cohort. We had been working with DeHaat for nearly a couple of years, and the problem statement that we wanted to solve for was, how do you take technology solutions and make them work for women farmers? DeHaat, as you know, is one of the leading ag-tech companies in India and have many solutions overall. But at the same time, agri value chain is often very male dominated, and the ingoing bias that most of us have, even if we close our eyes and ask, if I were to ask you, imagine a farmer, most of you would think of a male farmer, for instance. But in reality, a lot of the people on the farms are actually women, right? So how do we actually take some of this tech and make it work for them? So that's, I think, where sort of the genesis of this started. And obviously, we wanted to bring the gender lens as well as the technology chops that DeHaat is able to offer. What we wanted to do is on the slide. The brief to us was very simple. As Christian said, advisory solutions currently are today broken. Can we think of a prop advisory solution that's actually human-centered and easy to engage with? What that means is that it needs to be interactive, it needs to be multimodal. And when we say multimodal, it needs to be IVRS, it could be WhatsApp, can you talk to it, can you hear from it, and so on. And can we not be as constrained by the form factor that exists? So that was primarily the sort of the brief. One of the other things that we really wanted to do, and again, Christian touched upon this, is sort of interoperability and how do you actually think of this as sort of digital public goods overall. So can we also think of this platform in which, say, tomorrow, if a seller wants to offer something to them, or if you have a soil test sort of service, then can you actually integrate your services on this platform? So the design of the platform is sort of fairly interoperable. This clicker is not working. So if you can flip to the next slide. Okay, awesome. So I'll request the team, if you click again, I think it'll go to the YouTube link. This is a short demo and just please play it. What you will see in a quick 30 seconds is that on the left-hand side is a soil health card. And on the right-hand side that you see is an AI-generated video that's actually playing back what the farmer should interpret from that soil health card. So if we can play that,
I hope the audio is is audible. So let's give it a try.
वीडियो में हम आपको आपकी वृक्षपुरा की जमीन पर की गई मिट्टी की जांच के परिणाम समझाएंगे। आखिरी फसल सरसों की थी। उसके बाद मिट्टी में जैविक पदार्थ, जैविक कार्बन और नाइट्रोजन की कमी है। मिट्टी में सल्फर भी ज्यादा है। आइए समझें इसका असर आने वाली फसल कपास पर कैसे बनेगा। नाइट्रोजन। पौधे नाइट्रोजन का इस्तेमाल फोटोसिंथेसिस की प्रक्रिया में करते हैं। नाइट्रोजन की कमी इस प्रक्रिया और ऊर्जा उत्पादन की प्रक्रिया में बाधा डालेगी। खाना न मिलने से पौधों का विकास रुक जाएगा। जैविक पदार्थ और कार्बन। अगर मिट्टी एक रेत का महल है तो जैविक पदार्थ इसके खिड़की और दरवाजों की तरह काम करते हैं। उनके द्वारा ही मिट्टी में हवा और खाना एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाते हैं। उनकी कमी से खाना और दवा दोनों का संचार बाधित रहेगा। पौधे धीरे उगेंगे और रोगी हो सकते हैं। सल्फर। सल्फर का अधिक मात्रा में होना मिट्टी को पौधों के लिए जहरीला बना देता है। उससे पीएच में भी बदलाव आता है, जिससे पौधों को नाइट्रोजन, पोटेशियम जैसे पदार्थ मिलने में समस्या हो सकती है। पैदावार कम रहेगी।
So that was a quick glimpse of sort of what
नमस्ते शैलेंद्र सिंह जी। इस वीडियो में हम आपको आपकी
That was a quick glimpse of like what the power of the tool that we are trying to build for. What you just saw is essentially technology taking a soil health card, figuring out what the text on that is, interpreting that, converting that into a script, using AI again to create form factor, and then creating a video out of it, right? So you are able to go from a soil health card to an interactive video overall. And with generative AI and all the text to speech and video libraries, for instance, that exist, you are able to do that today. Again, if you have a bunch of questions, we also have our technical team and we can get into a lot of that. But what I wanted to do, and I know a lot of my fellow panelists are also going to talk about technology. In the minute that I have, what I really wanted to do with you guys today is, if you can pull the slides back up, we are taking a very gender intentional lens on how do we actually design the solution? Because quite often it's not just about the data or the algorithm and so on, but you need to think of women farmers all throughout the value chain. And what we are trying to do here is very simply categorized in these 5 buckets. So if you think of the data repository, so like whatever input, for instance, is going into this, right? So training data, for instance, for all our models, we are increasingly trying to see how much of that's actually represented by women's voices. And this is a challenge, and so more data is obviously helpful. 25% is probably not good enough, but at least is the starting point. Similarly, when it comes to algorithms and sort of ML models, like how do you write an algorithm in a way, for instance, that actually works, looks at their contextual factors, right? So if a woman is using this sort of tool to actually order a bag of, say, biofertilizers, I'm making this up, that will probably have to be home delivered given sort of the context and geographical limitations that they have. So can the algo actually fully understand that, right? And can we not assume that it's a male farmer who is receiving that? Then it's the UI itself, right? Like in most UI, you don't even know whether it's a male or female interacting with that UI. And sometimes women also feel uncomfortable actually showing their gender identity. And in that sense, can you assume that it is by default women, right? So can we take that lens? Similarly, UX as well. And then lastly, I think very important, and I feel like is one of the things that we are very excited by, is just use cases, right? So what you saw was one use case, but tomorrow you want to find a crop doctor, for instance. That's a particular use case. If you want to say price information, another use case, weather information, another use case, cattle health, another use case, right? Cattle management, another use case. So amongst all of these different use cases that we can potentially think of, which of these are actually also women focused, right? And can we prioritize that? So that's sort of the view that we are taking, and ensuring that we are a gender intentional sort of product design. So I'll pause here and pass it to.
Thanks, Vineet. And this goes really well with the discussion in the morning on advisory targeted towards women. I remember Asmita and Niyati were talking about how to contextualize advisory for women farmers, and Tech4Her is doing some great work there. I will now hand over to Nairobi because the next cohort presenting will be Digital Green, and we'll have a video from Digital Green, and then Beryl will speak about the solution for a minute or so. Over to you, Ram. And Florence, I guess.
Yeah, can you confirm?
Our innovative platform designed to share.
Hello. Oh,
Video.
Empower farmers and agriculture. Welcome to Digital Green's demonstration of our innovative platform, designed to empower farmers and agricultural extension workers through AI-powered solutions. Agricultural ministries, departments, and both governmental and non-governmental organizations can leverage our platform to run their digital agricultural systems effectively. Our comprehensive platform consists of Farmer Chat, the last
hear the audio in New Delhi.
The orchestration, data, content, and bot platform. Let's dive into the key features and metrics of our platform. Currently, we have over 7,000 registered users, with a 36% monthly and 13% weekly active user rate. Our ongoing efforts focus on improving the onboarding process to enhance user experience. The bot has processed over 180,000 queries, offering insights into the diverse agricultural challenges faced by users. We've seen a noticeable improvement in response success rates thanks to continual enhancements in our content knowledge base and better interaction techniques. User feedback has been predominantly positive, with most users appreciating the detailed and helpful responses. We continuously refine our content based on this feedback, especially focusing on underperforming areas to ensure all agricultural queries are addressed effectively. Now, let's proceed to a demonstration to see how the bot functions in real time. Users start by selecting their preferred language and crop type. For our demonstration, we're focusing on potatoes. If you encounter a problem like yellowing potato leaves, simply ask, "What should I do if the potato that I've planted has leaves turning yellow?" The bot provides detailed advice, exploring potential issues such as nutrient deficiencies or infections, and suggests practical follow-up questions to help diagnose and resolve the problem accurately. This live demo showcases the bot's capability for both text and voice interactions, accommodating user preferences for reading or listening. Integrated feedback mechanisms allow users to rate responses and contribute to the bot's continuous improvement. Moving on to FarmStack, this platform facilitates seamless sharing and retrieval of content across various interfaces and bots. Today, we'll explore how to publish content on FarmStack and manage this network effectively. Starting on the landing page, you'll find a Content tab on the navigation bar. This section shows all the content you or other trusted participants have published. To add new content, simply click the Add New Content button. You'll be prompted to enter a title and description, then link your content from supported sources such as local uploads, internet documents, YouTube channels, APIs, and websites. For instance, if you're publishing a collection on blue elderberry, you can combine files from different sources, such as a document link and a YouTube playlist. After compiling, categorize your collection to facilitate easier access and management. Once published, you can view detailed metadata for each content piece, including vectors and related chunks. These details are crucial for the RAG retrieval augmented generation, which ensures that bots can query and retrieve content effectively. In terms of network orchestration, a steward oversees the platform, ensuring that only vetted participants like state governments can share and access content. This governance model helps maintain the integrity and security of the shared network. To summarize, we've walked through how to add and publish content from various sources, categorize it effectively, and manage network participation. FarmStack makes it straightforward for participants to build bots for different interfaces swiftly and efficiently. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this presentation has provided a clear understanding of how our tools can support and enhance agricultural practices. For any queries related to our platform or services, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.
My name is Beryl Agengo. I'm the country director for Digital Green in Kenya. I have part of our team seated at that end. I have a minute. I'd just like to highlight that we can demo for you the chatbot if you're here. We can show you how it works. For what we are looking for inclusively, both for India, for Ethiopia, for Kenya, to work better is content. The more content we have into the chatbot, the better it is to give correct answers, but not just any content. Quality content. It's a chatbot. So the more it learns with quality data, the better. So that will be the first ask, kind of. But also that for the Kenya chatbot, we are trying to include local languages. It works in English and Kiswahili. We are trying to teach it Kikuyu. We are on the starting phase, and we are looking for partners who can also help us figure out how to improve the learning models, but also have more local dialect. In India, there are better, more models, more languages in India than in Kenya. So for Kenya, again, just adding Kikuyu. Then the last one would be that our bots, we have intentionally added a gender angle. We intentionally have our farmers trained on the bots on gender, so that, for as an example, the women are trained separately from men, and then the men ask why, but also highlight that the women need to bring their children. If the children are in the same setting with men, it's distracting, but the women will know how to manage and multitask. We also have queries that are more aligned to women, so they can ask better questions. I have 4 cows. How many liters can I keep so that I feed my children, but then still sell for productivity. It's a bot. So the more questions we ask, the better it learns, but also that the women feel free to ask questions without feeling about the repercussion because it's more private and on their own cell phones. We are looking for service providers to onboard on the board. So if you have market linkage, finance, the farmers are asking for these services. I have gotten my milk production increased. Where do I sell? We are open for business. Thank you. So
Thank you, Beryl.
Back to Delhi. Thank you.
Yeah, back to Delhi. And I think next one would be Dinesh to present, if Lokendra would be ready.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm Lokendra. I will be presenting for DNAG. Quick introduction, we have from the DNAG, Mayank also. Mayank is leading our on-field efforts. So you will be seeing one or two on-field photos that, of course, is led by Mayank. For the generative AI part, I have with me Dinesh from the Dexian team. He is leading the efforts for all the AI things. So yeah, starting off, a quick overview. We want to build a P2P interface for the agri ecosystem, allowing farmers to access all kind of information using voice. In agri ecosystem, anywhere in the world, voice is the primary source of communication. And we want to enable the farmer to access any kind of information that they want using the voice only. Primarily, we are working in 4 major areas. First and foremost, we have P2P app. We have named it eSakhi. For the Indian context, we have been working in Bihar as of now. Second is building LLM models for resource constrained languages. So the languages that we are working on from Bihar, Maithili, Bhojpuri, and I'm missing one more, okay, Magadhi. These languages are resource constrained. We don't have a lot of data on which we can train models. So the app is again an avenue to basically collect more data. Then, of course, focusing on ways to improve the retrieval of those data. And finally, we are trying to extend the capabilities of this whole ecosystem to other use cases, primarily like IVR. Yeah, next slide, please. I have. Okay, yeah, we launched our MVP last month, and so far the review have been awesome. Of course, the model that we launched was trained on nearly 100 hours of data collected from 140 farmers. And interestingly, 110 them were women. Again, we have done some UI UX changes, as well as we gauge how the user felt about using the app. And before going forward, I would like to present a small demo also of our app. So yeah, the video is embedded. I think it can be played directly there.
Quick check, shall I run it virtually, or is somebody from the production team running it?
We can run it here, Christian, if it doesn't work.
Okay.
Manipulate the
I'll try.
it's perfect, probably in the present. No.
धान
Okay,
की खेती के लिए क्या-क्या चीजों का ध्यान रखें?
Yeah, that video is being played, I think, in slides, but nonetheless.
उत्तराह धान की खेती में आदर्श वृद्धि की स्थिति बनाने के लिए धान की खेती में आदर्श वृद्धि की स्थिति बनाने के लिए धान के खेतों में जल स्तर का उचित प्रबंधन करना महत्वपूर्ण है। साथ ही खरपतवार के प्रकोप और चावल विस्फोट जैसी बीमारियों के प्रसार जैसे संभावित जोखिमों के बारे में भी जागरूक होना महत्वपूर्ण है। नियमित निगरानी
Play the demo. just-
Nonetheless, the question that was asked is like, what are the things that needs to be kept in mind while doing the cultivation for paddy? And of course, on the data we trained, the AI was able to answer in a brief, like what are the key things that needs to be taken care of, including like disease, water management, how to till the land and things like that. So yeah, I think we can move to next slide.
Sorry, I think I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Hold on a second.
No, we are sharing it here, Ted. Christian, please share it. Christian.
Okay, so just to give a quick overview on how our model works. First and foremost, we collect the data. Basically, the farmer asks the question. We transcribe it using the Bhashini API and then convert it into English. Then it is then forwarded to our servers, where the model basically extract the context of the question. And once that is done, it is matched to a specific resource from which the LLM fetches and makes an answer. And this answer is again translated back to Hindi as of now. We are trying to include more languages. And then again, using the Bhashini API, it is read back to the farmer. So this is the current product development so far. Moving forward, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. Moving forward, of course, agri is very context based sector. Of course, the same thing cannot be applied across all the advisory. An advisory related to disease is going to be very different. Let's say for an advisory related to something about how to manage water in their fields. So that's why we are trying to build a category classification, or let's say query classification filter in between, which will ideally help us to filter out what kind of queries are and enable us to insert prompts so that answers are more contextual. Again, post that we have some testing to basically improve the model performance and retrieval of the answer time, and building a future data pipeline, helping us to include more data into our ecosystem, because again, the area in which we are operating is very resource constrained. Very interesting thing that we are trying to do is we are trying to use the data given by the farmer to feed back into our system. So let's say a farmer can ask a question, he can give an answer to a particular question also, and that we are trying to build some kind of filters which will help us to identify that, okay, is this information valid enough to push back into our system or not? And this again circles back to the whole thing that we are operating in a resource constraint language area, and data given by the farmer is perhaps the best data resource that we are going to get. Of course, then boiling all of this down to features and implementing those. For the UI UX part, I think as you might be knowing till now, we are very focused to make it accessible to the woman. So that's something we are also very heavily focused on. So yeah, that's all from Dinesh. I hope you liked our presentation. Thanks.
Thanks, Lokendra, for this presentation. I think we are now up for the last presentation from Viamo that will be played virtually. I assume that I will start the presentation from here and hopefully it will work. So hold on. And that presentation will be given by Anna Frenzel from Viamo.
Hello there, my name's Anna Frenzel and I'm presenting on behalf of Viamo and our partners Harvest Plus, Sahaj and Producers Direct. So Viamo has built a platform that enables people to access critical information on demand through a free voice call from the basic non-internet phones that they already own. Up till now, our products have utilized recorded interactive voice response to have a series of pre-recorded messages which users can navigate using a menu structure and navigating them using their keypad. So whether that's for our countrywide platforms, which are accessed typically through a free shortcode on a particular mobile network, or specific info lines where we work with a partner to target a particular demographic or group of users. We always work with technical expert partners to build content that is high quality, accurate, verified, and has the potential to impact positively on people's lives. So with the advent of generative AI, we have the opportunity to make our platform more responsive to our users in a way that we can maintain the inclusivity that voice-based channels provide. So in this case, it means building a digital assistant to bring our users agricultural information that they need on demand with personalized responses to the specific question that they have. So we want to make sure that our users can continue to call in from their basic phones and ask questions that they might have on a simple voice call. So at the moment, what we're looking at building, or what we're in the process of building, is an assistant that would provide agricultural advisory similar to that of a farmer extension worker. So that would mean context-specific, localized advisory on specific value chains. And in this case, we focused initially on high iron beans in Kenya and wheat in India. So in order to try and mimic an extension worker, firstly, information needs to be delivered in a local language. The responses need to be easy to understand and tailored for farmers rather than being too technical or too simplistic. And the accessibility of the information needs to be tailored to the preferences of farmers. So for example, in Kenya, internet penetration remains relatively low at almost 33%, and smartphone penetration is mixed. So particularly in poorer demographics, you would not see so much smartphone use, and nor would you see people with access to large amounts of internet data. So we need to continue to bear in mind their device type, the digital skills and the digital literacy that they may have, and their confidence navigating digital products. And then also their literacy levels. So do they prefer a voice-based response or a written response? So in order to look at this and get more feedback from potential users, we are building channels that encompass voice. So calling a number, asking your question on one of these value chains and receiving a spoken response in your language, in your local language. We're looking at a WhatsApp text-based answer service and a WhatsApp voice note-based question and answer service. So ask a question using a voice note, send the voice note, and then get a voice note back with a response. So our test groups are bean farmers in Kenya, where they speak English and Swahili, and wheat farmers in India, where we're looking at deploying in Hindi, or we have deployed in both of these locations. So the findings that we're getting back from farmers will then inform the next developmental steps of the assistant. So some recent work that we did in both Kenya and India, we have a sample here from a farmer testing this out in India. The video is a little bit long, so I suspect our GIZ colleagues may pause the video before the end of the full recording, but there is a transcription here on the right that you can have a read of whilst you're watching a demonstration of one of the farmers interacting with the voice-based assistant. So with that, I'll close and thank you very much.
क्या बोल रहा है? स्पीकर ऑन कीजिए. लग गया ना? प्रश्न पूछिए।
तो गेहूं का खेती कैसे करें?
एक दबाइए, एक बार में दबाइए।
आपके सवाल के लिए धन्यवाद। कृपया एक क्षण प्रतीक्षा करें जब तक मैं आपको उत्तर न दे दूं।
I think we can stop now the video to the production team. Okay, thank you very much. I think that gave you already a good impression of where Viamo is in terms of their prototypical implementation. I'm not sure whether we have anybody from Viamo to quickly say something on top in Nairobi. Otherwise, we can move to the Q&A if we still have time. Okay. So, yes, Ram?
Yeah, so Christian, I think, could you say some final words? Maybe we wrap up, at least from Nairobi. I think we have the next presenters waiting already.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're running a little bit over time. So sorry for the technical hiccups at the beginning and throughout that session. I think hybrid is always a most advanced setup that is tricky. So hopefully you could follow most of the presentations, if not all, and got a good impression of where we are in terms of the agricultural information exchange platform. For time reasons, we will skip now the Q&A because others are waiting in line to be next. So please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach out to me, christian.merz@giz.de, and also to the individual cohort members to ask a question, to gain interest in collaboration, to get another session being scheduled, to get more details. Feel free to reach out to us. We are more than happy to share where we are and what we have done in more detail. And thank you very, very much for your patience and for your presentations to India, to Nairobi, and the virtual participants. Thank you. And yeah.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you, New Delhi.